So tonight at my local Cineworld, they put on a secret screening, which means that you don't know what the movie's going to be until it actually starts playing. And they actually showed the brand new Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which is set to come out on March 31st in here in the UK and in America. So yeah, I got to check this out early, and having no knowledge of Dungeons & Dragons apart from just knowing of the name, what did I think of this movie? Well, stick around and find out in this spoiler-free review. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for taking your own time out to check out this review, whether you're brand new or whether you're returning once again. Directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley, who are co-directors here, and they have kind of co-directed and wrote many projects in the past, including Game Night, which I actually really enjoyed that movie. Yeah, they're back once again. Now, as far as I'm aware, it does say that this is actually based on the tabletop role-playing game, and it is also based in the Forgotten Realms campaign setting. I don't know what that means. As I say, I've never played the game ever in my life. I know of course, the brand Dungeons and Dragons. It's absolutely huge all over the world. I'd say probably more America than the UK, but I might be wrong. I really don't know. And this has got kind of like an all-star stellar cast behind it, including names such as Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Sophia Lillis, Justice Smith, Hugh Grant, Regé-Jean Page, Daisy Head, Chloe Coleman, and the music is done by Lorne Balfe. So going into the plot of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, it's essentially set around a group of thieves who steal a relic for the Red Wizard, unbeknownst to them. However, the Red Wizard wants to create an army of the undead, so it's up to the band and these group of thieves to go on a quest to stop the Red Wizard and save the world. So I'm not sure about you guys, and feel free to leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree. When I saw the trailer for this, I thought, it looks like a kind of like a fun adventure kind of movie, but I also wasn't too sold on it. The comedy looked a bit goofy and stupid. I didn't really get any chuckles from it, so I was a little bit hesitant actually going to check out this movie when it originally released. But when it was on an early screen tonight, I thought, heck, I'm going to sit around, I'm going to check it out. Of course, I would like to just be open and honest and check out this movie. And what I can ultimately say after watching Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is I had a very good time with this movie. Going into the positives right away, the performances all around are really good here, especially from Michelle Rodriguez and Sophia Lillis, who personally, I think Sophia Lillis kind of steals the show. But adding into that mix, we've got to add Daisy Head, who plays Sophia, the Red Wizard. And yeah, I think the ladies in this outing steal the show for me personally. I was really invested in all three of their characters. And don't get me wrong, Chris Pine does a good job here, so does Justice Smith. Hugh Grant is just very goofy, but he kind of hams up the role really, so it's kind of hard to not kind of like it or laugh at his just goofiness in the role. And I'd say Regé-Jean Page, of course, a lot of people know him from Bridgerton. Yeah, I also thought that he was good for the role that he is given in this outing. I also kind of admired the world building here because, as I say, as a newbie to Dungeons and Dragons, this was brand new to me. So I'm like, right, okay, as a newbie, bring me into this world. Show me what it's all around. Show me what I could experience to an extent if I was to ever pick up the tabletop role-playing game. And I think that this movie does a good job to execute that. And I generally believe when this is actually officially out for you guys to check out, I think it's going to get a lot of people into the role-playing tabletop game. Because as I said, people like me are just going to go into this saying like, oh, this looks like a fun adventure kind of based movie, and it definitely delivers among that, but it also kind of introduces you being like, wow, okay, so what is this Forgotten Realms campaign setting all around? Was the movie kind of taking liberties on that? Again, I would love to know from you guys. Going into that kind of fun adventure element, yeah, this is definitely a popcorn movie. Or get some snacks, get some nachos, and just sit back and enjoy this 2 hour and 14-minute kind of runtime. It does have at least one post-credit scene. I didn't stick all the way right until the end to see if it had a second, but I know it's definitely got one, kind of like mid-credit one, which is a really kind of goofy, funny moment which ties in with something that happens earlier on in the movie, which is just, it's fun. That's all I'm going to say. There's many action sequences set throughout the duration, and there's some that are really cool, and there's also going to be a couple I think was memorable, especially kind of like a grave digging scene. That's all I'm going to say. I know it sounds kind of morbid, but that's all I'm going to say, of course, because this is spoiler free. But I really enjoyed that scene in particular. That's where I found to have kind of the most laughs and chuckles from this movie. Yeah, I really think that it had also stakes at times, which is really good, because one of the biggest elements I also really enjoyed here is the Red Wizard trying to create this undead army. Again, I think that all goes to Daisy Head and how the movie was written to kind of give us this exploration of this villain's motives and what they were trying to accomplish. And I think it's done, for most part, pretty well. And I absolutely loved learning about the different types of characters that we have here. Bard, a barbarian, a paladin, magic sorcerer, tailing druid, a rogue and a con artist, and a red wizard. All of those different kind of character types, again, is just really interesting and really kind of fascinating to see what each of them can bring to each different scenario, and especially these action set pieces, which is filled with CG and special effects, which for most part, going to be honest, is actually done really well. A really big highlight I've got to give this movie is the music by Lon Balfe, who has had so much experience on movies, TV work, and video games such as Assassin's Creed. The music used throughout really kind of just epitomizes this open kind of world and this really fantasy world that we see, which really just culminates and really brings you into the experience of this Dungeons and Dragons lore that we are slowly learning about. Going into just a couple of negatives that I have, not too many if I'm being honest, is some of the comedy here absolutely doesn't land whatsoever. Just kind of fell flat. One of the stories here that is included kind of into the main plot of this movie is Chloe Coleman plays a character called Kira, who is the daughter of Chris Pine's character Edgin. However, I feel like I didn't really feel the kind of loving relationship, father and daughter, of that relationship. I felt it more towards Michelle Rodriguez and Chloe Coleman's development of the character scene. That's not really a spoiler because it's in the trailer, guys, so I'm not spoiling it for you guys. Yeah, I felt like those couple of negatives and a couple of moments here of green screen, you could kind of tell really, but besides that, yeah, I actually had a lot of fun with this movie. I didn't kind of expect to have this much fun. I thought, this is going to be kind of like run the mill, it's going to be okay, but I actually can imagine this movie is going to be successful. So if you've seen Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, maybe you're watching this after the movies come out, or if you're going to go check this one out and you've seen the trailer and you're anticipating for it, I'll leave any and all comments down below so we can continue the discussion down there. But as for my overall final score, what I'm going to rate Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves is a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So I hope that you've enjoyed this review. If you have, give it a big thumbs up and also click the red subscribe button down below so I can see you again on a future video. I do have a Patreon. There is a couple of levels that you can select, starting from £2 per month, going all the way to £5 a month. And they include a host of bunch of different perks, early access to videos. You can even request movies for me to watch and review on Patreon exclusive or onto my YouTube channel. And you get so much more perks, including merch that is coming very, very soon. So the link to my Patreon is down below in the description box. Go check it out. And I want to give a big, massive thank you to all my awesome Patreons on level 1 or 2 for supporting the channel. It really means a lot, and they all have YouTube channels, so please go show them some support. And until the next time that I see you guys, I'll be seeing you later.